Welcome, Scorpio and Scorpio cross watchers, to your reading for today. So I hope you guys have had a wonderful day, and of course, thank you for stopping by my channel. Scorpio, I feel like you are, it almost feels like you might be in a bit of an isolation phase, like doing a lot of self-reflection. I feel like I almost said you're looking for a way to set yourself free, but I don't feel like you're looking for it. I think from what I'm seeing, you've made a choice about something here and that set you free. I feel like looking at your past self and some of the decisions that you've made, it's almost this energy of not looking at yourself as foolish, but understanding that the you now would make very different decisions. It's almost like you were kind of on this quest for truth in the past. And I feel like there was someone that was genuinely trying to help you, but their viewpoint, it feels like it was misguided. And I feel like there were this might sound strange, there were some of this person's teachings or advice that were, it's like they didn't feel right. And I feel to a certain extent, you were, how do I say this? You kind of dampened some of the things that you thought or felt because you were trying to commit yourself to the process of learning whatever this is. But it feels like right now you're getting back to yourself. This one here. It's almost like you're remembering yourself. I mean, it feels like you are, you're not discounting any of the wisdom that you did gain from this person, but it feels like you're on very different paths now. So, what is supporting Scorpio at this time? What's supporting Scorpio? Ten of Swords. In the typical deck, that talks about things getting as, like, hitting the bottom. It doesn't really feel like you hit the bottom from what I'm seeing. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I'm not feeling it either way. It feels like you went as far as you were willing to go in terms of whatever this situation was, right? It doesn't feel necessarily that you feel that you've hit the bottom. What it does feel like is whatever choice you made here, it puts you in an energy where you are, the lone survivor. You are alone. But I'm hearing you might be alone, but you're choosing freedom and adventure over restriction. It's not even restriction. It's almost like it was not even an option to stay for you. If that makes sense. I hope this reading's making sense. It's almost like in the past you were on a quest to kind of like build your tribe sort of thing in an effort to not be completely alone. And I feel like what's interesting, or not peculiar, but it's just a very different energy, is it's like now you're choosing to be in that much aloneness. It's almost like you want to go into a sensory deprivation thing, those eggs where it's like, it's dark and there's no noise and all that sort of stuff. It almost feels like there was another reading that was that said something of this nature, like pushing the reset button. I'm sorry, I can't remember which one it was. But it feels kind of like that energy. It just feels like, how do I say this? It's like now the goal for right now is to be that alone. And it's not about, oh, poor Scorpio, they're alone. It feels more like you're going to do your life in your way, and people are just going to come alongside you. And it's like, and you're just going to keep kind of pushing through your life the way that you are. And those people will come when they come, right? It's like you've made peace with the fact that, like that Tom Cochrane song, life is a highway, and people get on and they get off, and some people drive with you the whole way, if you're lucky, right? And it just feels like if being alone made you feel restricted before, it doesn't anymore. It's like that's what makes you feel free right now. What can we get card for? Six of Swords talks about getting away from a, the conflict and arguments and fighting of the Five of Swords. Okay, so here it is. Scorpio, make no mistake, there was a lot of hurt involved in whatever happened. It's almost like, in a way, you had to choose to hurt yourself or to kind of get your feelings hurt somehow. I feel like that's a bit communicative, is getting your feelings hurt. Not entirely sure why, but I'm going to start that sentence over. I feel like you made a decision that you knew would hurt under the assumption that what would be after that hurt would be better. It's that energy of like, Scorpio would rather be alone and free and happy and peaceful than be around people and feel like a fish out of water, almost like a fraud, because of the people that you're around and they don't resonate with you. And I feel like if you are in that really hurt place, it does feel like you're getting to where you're coming out of it. From what I'm seeing, that hurt is kind of like, it is casting a bit of a shadow on the reading, but it feels like it's almost like if you are feeling sadness, or there's times where you're kind of crying about it, it's almost like you're not crying because you're sad, you're crying out of habit when you think about them, if that makes sense. And from what I'm seeing, that kind of like heaviness that comes with it, it doesn't feel like you anymore. Can we get a card for, what does Scorpio know is coming? And what do they need to know about that? So we got the 6 and 7 of Cups. Whoops. Yes, we'll take that one. 5, 6, and 7 of Cups with the Hierophant. So, very interesting that, like, I've had this deck for years, so it's not like all those cards were together. So, hold on for a second here. It kind of feels like there are these thoughts of, the 6 of Cups talks about reminiscing about the past. And I feel like there's a certain amount of, like, let's put this past situation with this person to the side for a second. Because it feels like when you think about the future that you want, it's almost like there is an equal amount of sadness that accompanies that vision of the future. Because I feel like you're in a place where you expect things to not work out, or you expect things to fall apart. You know what I mean? It's almost like you might be strengthening your relationship with a higher power, God, if that's, what you believe. Whatever that is to you, it's almost like there is this, you may be holding on to something a little too tightly, because it does feel to a certain extent that, like, in your world right now, everything feels like it's dynamic, in that it's not permanent, it's not static, it's not static is something that is fixed. It has a fixed base. When something is dynamic, it's because it's moving around, right? So it's almost like, this might call you out a little bit. While you may either know or want that kind of like happy family, happy life, you actually seem to be more comfortable in a sad energy. It feels more, it's almost like it feels normal to be in that energy, almost morose. And I want to be real clear here. It's not like, oh, Scorpio's having a pity party. I mean, hello. It just feels more that it's like, it's easier for you to exist in a place where things are, hold on, things are ending. It's like, it's easier to cope with loss and to cope with hurt when you know that it's coming at some point anyway. What do you need to know about what's coming? We have the Seven of Cups. Okay. Before I say anything, I'm just going to get a clarifier because I want to make sure. The Seven of Cups talks about somebody having Eight of Cups. Holy cow. Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck. The tarot just, like, they just keep saying, like, did I stutter? No. Just give me a second. Anyway, Scorpio, from what I'm seeing, there is going to be somebody that seems like they're, it's almost like that they're a match to your energy, in that they may have that same expectation of sadness and loss, or they're more comfortable in that energy, but they seem to have this really chaotic sort of headspace that they're in. It's almost like this person hasn't figured out what they want. They haven't kind of like aligned with themselves to figure out where they feel strongest. It's like they're not in touch with who they are. And I feel like something is going to kind of get away from this person. They know that it's, hold on for a second. They know something is slithering away, but it's like they're too focused on wanting what everybody else wants. For example, it's like wanting, a really athletic partner because that's what everybody else wants. And like everybody else wants this person, so I'm going to want this person, not realizing that they don't actually want that person. And now, of course, it may not be athletic, right? But it's just, there's certain attributes that the world holds in high esteem, and this person doesn't actually hold those in high esteem. And I feel like that's evident in how they live their life. However, they are choosing to pursue those things because they are, they want to be accepted. They want to feel like they're part of the crowd. They want to feel like they are, it's like invited and welcome. They want people to want them. And it's almost like this person may even dress in a way that isn't who they really are. I feel like to a certain extent, this kind of pressure that they're putting on themselves to fit into something, it does feel like it has some roots in when they were young. It's like maybe they saw, let's say, for example, someone dressed all in black, or someone dressed in whatever. And I feel like the person that they were with was extraordinarily critical. This is reminding me of a reading a long time ago, like a while back. But I can't remember the name of it. If I can, I'll try to link it down. I probably won't be able to remember it though. Anyway, and it feels like this person really internalized that, like, this caregiver or this person that they really looked up to, that they really wanted to love them, was like just practically spitting out hatred for this person that dressed in this way. And I feel like, so that's why this person, it's like they get up and they put this cloak on every morning, and it's like it's a cloak of invisibility of who they really are. It's like a mirage to present themselves to the world in a way that makes them worthy of. It's like it makes it easier for people to respond to and interact with them. I feel like the real version of them, when that version of them kind of like, you know, the small interludes in their life where they let a little bit of it out, I feel like it wasn't received very well. It does feel like to them that it was rejected, but I feel like they're very, very sensitive to anything that looks like it could kind of be rejection, right? So it's like, let's say they dress different and they walk into the office or they walk into school, depending, of course, on age and stuff like that. And it's like someone's eyebrows might shoot up because they're dressed very differently. And it's not even judgment, it's just surprise. But this person is hypersensitive to feeling like they stick out like a sore thumb. So they would look at it as that rather than, you know, almost like a conversation piece, rather than there's something inherently wrong with them. And it's almost like they're consuming like societal standards almost to kind of drown out the part of them that doesn't fit in. I feel like you're really gonna, I feel like to a certain extent your heart goes out to this person. It's almost like part of you feels like you wish you could help them, and the other part of you, it's just not really your concern. It feels like there's something happening under this person's nose that they don't know about, that it feels like you can see it really clearly. And it's almost like, and if that snake thinks that they're going to make their way over to you, no, that's not going to work out. It's almost like if that snake comes over to you, you're going to pick it up by the neck or whatever. I don't know how you would pick up a snake. But it's like you're just going to pick it up and be like, this is not, you're not going to pull this here and kind of throw it into the ocean almost. It just feels like whatever that is, there's something here that this person let fly under the radar. And it's almost, it's not like you want that thing to come at you, but if it does, it's going to be met with a very different energy than what it's used to. Because like you're going to shut that down real fast. It's almost like if you did, let's play that situation out a little bit. If that snake came to you and you shut it down, I actually feel like this person would be looking at you like, oh my gosh, are we allowed to do that? Is Scorpio even allowed to say that? We were allowed to do that? Like it feels like this person has been really conditioned to live and think and feel in a certain way. I feel like they've never known anything else. And it's almost like whatever you walked away from here, them looking at you having done it, it almost seems to them that it's like, it's unbelievable that somebody would be able to be that brave. And it's almost like it, regardless of what happens in the situation with you and this person, I feel like your boldness and bravery seems to plant a seed in them that's kind of like, wait a second. You know what I mean? It's like they've been sitting in a dark room and maybe you didn't flick the light on or whatever. Maybe it's on one of those like gradual things. But it was the first time they realized that there was even a light in that room. And it's almost like it starts to kind of like, I can feel it in my chest. It feels like this energy of just this kind of love that starts expanding out from them. And I feel like there's going to be certain people and situations that start coming into this person's life that confirm that what they've been taught is wrong. And I feel like they are very conflicted because it feels like this energy of like walking away from everything, maybe not as quite as dramatic as this, okay? Um, but turning their back on what they have believed their whole life to understand the world in a different way. It is really intimidating to this person. There's a lot of fear involved. It's almost like even if they just kind of flip this bowl up, there might just be, the water coming in on the beach. It might be nothing, but they've been conditioned that everything that's wrong with the world is under that bowl. Or it's not even that. It doesn't even feel like they've been told what's under that bowl. They've just been told that it's bad. And I feel like it's almost like they're kind of itching. Instead of that fear, it's now being replaced with excitement. So, I think I'll leave it there, Scorpio. If this reading resonated, I hope it was helpful. If you like what I do, please like, comment, subscribe. I do have the October 2023 monthly love readings coming out next week, so please keep an eye out for those if you're so inclined. And we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.